Hello everyone and welcome to the download from 24 IT Services. We're back. It's like a month, more than a month, I think, since the last podcast. We took a break because, of course, we had things like business awards interviews. We had some of our own events that we were doing as well. So it's been good to kind of step back, get all of these things out of the way and then return, although it's going to be on and off over the last couple of months of the year. We've got a lot of other things coming up over the next few months. And also, behind the scenes, I've got a new starter starting soon. So I might have a permanent co-host or at least a permanent producer for the podcast actually in the office going forwards as well. But let's come to that at a future date because really exciting times. We've got another great show lined up for today with a brilliant guest who I've known from our local networking community for it's a long time now. It's a good few years, and she is absolutely brilliant. The queen of networking across the local region, as we referred to her as the other week. We're joined today by Pippa from Applaud Business Consultancy. How are you doing, Pippa?
I'm good, thank you very much. You're very energetic, Ade.
I've had my morning coffee, that's why.
Oh dear.
Well, you can see actually from where you're sat, there is a coffee machine actually on the...
There is.
on the actual desk. You'll have seen that in the background, it's not the usual white wall because, like I say, I've got a secondary desk in this room now, just to kind of make room for more people. I've got to share my office, that's what it is. I've got to share my office.
Well, the best person to share it with.
Yeah, exactly. So Pippa, joining us today for the podcast. I've known Pippa now for how long is it now, Pippa? Is it coming up on like 5 years?
Do you know what? Everybody goes via COVID. Was it pre or post-COVID?
Post-COVID.
So it'll be 3 years, 4 years?
It's be longer than that.
COVID was 5 years. It started 5 years ago.
So yes, known you for quite a while through networking events across the local region, and I'm sure that plenty of people tuning into this episode today from across Doncaster and across, like I say, the wider South Yorkshire region have probably met you at some point or another at a different event, I would say.
I would have thought so. Well, possibly.
But of course, let's get into the show for today. We'll come back to you and what you do across the local region later in the show. So, as always, we'll split the show into 3 segments. We'll start with a little bit of tech news, cyber news. We'll cover today's 24 tech tip topic of the week. And then we'll close out by talking to Pippa about who she is and what she does. So, the very first news story for today, and actually it's a little bit of a 2-in-1, let's call it. So, following a cyber attack in June of this past year, Qantas have now confirmed that the personal data of 5.7 million customers has been leaked on the dark web. Qantas has reportedly had until this past Saturday to be able to pay an undisclosed ransom amount to a hacker group called Scattered Lapsus Hunters. I think I'm saying that right. There's a $sign in there, so I have no idea. Who, following this deadline, released the captured data onto the dark web. This included names, email addresses, frequent flyer information, and other personal information of their customers. However, the airline has stated that no credit card, passport, or other financial information was exposed in the breach. Following on from this, in a completely unrelated attack, although we'd never know, it could be the same group, it's not been reported on this yet, yesterday evening, a little bit closer to home, London North Eastern Railway, or LNER, emailed customers to let them know that customer data has been exposed in a data breach via one of its suppliers. According to the email, which I actually received from them, and I know, Pippa, we've spoken about this before, the show you received as well, customer data included names, email addresses, and other information which was accessed. However, no card details, passwords, or other account information was accessed according to the email. The company informed customers to be wary of phishing emails or scam emails from cybercriminals, especially those who may be looking to impersonate LNER, reminding customers to remain vigilant against these phishing or other scam attempts, including unexpected communications asking for personal or financial information, and also not to click on any downloads or attachments within an email that looks suspicious. They also said to make sure that it comes from LNER and have stated to look for at lner.co.uk or at email.lner.co.uk, and that threat actors may try to imitate these with special characters, such as a 1 for an L, for example, and other things like that. LNER have stated that customers can contact them directly at datainfo, all one word, at lner.co.uk if any customers are in doubt of whether an email or message comes directly from LNER. They also went on to state that about what they have done and what they are doing. LNER reported the incident to the Information Commissioner's Office on September 9th, following discovering about the attack on September 8th. Of course, this is within the 72-hour window that they have to report these types of attack, of course. But of course, this could now end up changing in the future to as little as 24 hours, but they did also abide by that too. They also notified the National Cyber Security Centre, the British Transport Police, and also the Department for Transport about the attack. Additionally, they've paused certain communication channels temporarily as a precaution. Whilst we don't have this out yet, I've actually been writing it this past week. We do have an article coming this next month about what businesses should do, including who they should communicate to following a cyber attack. So look out for that. It'll probably be around mid-November, and we've got something else coming mid-November, so I'm really looking forward to sharing that, but that's for another day. Pippa, so with the vast amount of cyber attacks taking place nowadays and the amount of data that is breached and exposed on the dark web, do you think that your data is secure from cyber criminals attempting to use it from phishing scams? I've also been notified to speak up for you to speak up a little bit because it was a little bit quiet. But yeah, do you feel that your data is secure from being used by cyber criminals?
Everybody's needs to be secure. I think there's probably a lot of us that assume it's secure, and don't actually realise what people can get hold of. We, in the past, have had a data breach, and I'd like to think that we responded to it correctly. I do feel that certainly the larger companies, they ought to tell us soon. Okay, tell the ICO within the time, but I think they ought to let their clients know and customers know
a lot sooner.
A lot sooner, because we could be getting information within, what was 9th of September, you said, LNER?
Yeah, so it was discovered on the 8th. They informed the ICO on the 9th.
So we've had a whole more than a month.
Yeah, more than a month.
Using LNER, or possibly using LNER, obtain them getting information, sending it to us. Who are we supposed to know? How are people supposed to know?
Exactly. And the problem is that cyber criminals could have already been using this information for phishing scams in that time period as well. And with LNER only disclosing now via email to customers, how are customers to know before that time if they've potentially been receiving phishing attacks?
Exactly. I'm looking forward to your document coming out about it. Who to
contact and where and how quickly you should be contacting, because not only should at the moment you should be informing the ICO within 72 hours. Thankfully, like I say, LNER did this within 24 hours, or at least within a business day, let's call it. But there are certain changes coming in the near future that could reduce that down to 24 hours for everyone.
I think it's right. They should do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they should inform people as quickly as possible. I think the problem with this is at the moment is that there is no law on how quickly you should tell customers. That is, unless financial information has been impacted. So if bank account information was impacted because of this, they would have had to have told people a lot sooner, mainly because people need to be able to get bank accounts like disabled and things like that as well. Because there is no personal financial information and nothing that will have an impact on the person other than, of course, their email address and potentially other information being available on the dark web, LNER haven't been required by law to notify people any sooner than they already have.
That's not necessarily strictly true about what the information they've got. Okay, they've got the basics, but there'll be a lot of vulnerable people out there that don't understand how to use emails, will just click on it anyway. And if LNER are asking for, if allegedly LNER are asking for information and they give it, then their information's okay, they've willingly, in a sense, willingly given it, But again, I do think customers, clients should be told a lot sooner.
Should be told a lot sooner. I know that you've said many times that when you suffered your own data breach, I will say, by the way, Pippa isn't a client. It wasn't us that made her vulnerable. So I will say that.
Yeah.
You did say previously that you notified people within 24 hours. Anyone who...
people within half an hour, we were
Yeah.
actually shut down. The data breach was dealt with within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It went out on LinkedIn as soon as we were aware of it, because that's how we felt that we needed to let people know.
Yeah.
And all our clients were informed within, I think it was an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's important to be transparent about these sorts of things as well, especially for a business such as yourselves that
Deals with compliance.
exactly deals with compliance. It's important that you should be letting people know. So, no, I think whilst there are certain laws and certain regulations actually in effect at the moment, I think it is much more important that people and businesses look at this and say, you know what, we need to be doing what is right by our clients as well. So exactly. Moving on to news story 2 of the day. A data center fire in South Korea this past week saw 858 terabytes of government files and the equivalent of 8 years worth of work go up in smoke, quite literally. The government's G Drive, no relation to Google Drive, government drive, I think is what they're shortening it down to, was used by 125,000 government officials. And reportedly, this couldn't be backed up by the government due to its size. 858 terabytes. But strictly, this isn't true, because 858 is just data at the end of the day. As long as you have got a replication source in another location that can account for that and room to spare. So say, for example, a petabyte, which is, 1024 terabytes, give or take. If you had a petabyte server at a separate offsite location away from this data center, and you had the data link between them, you could back up that data. I suppose it's down to cost at the end of the day. The cost of a petabyte's worth of storage and the ongoing maintenance of that will be quite large, let's say, but it's not impossible to be able to do. This fire actually comes shortly after the government had told employees and officials to no longer store data on their own machines and to only use this G Drive system, which, yeah, I suppose they're kicking themselves for that now, and probably kicking themselves for not having a data backup as well. But this wasn't, of course, the only system that was impacted inside this data center. A total of 647 systems were impacted by the fire, destroying a total of 96 of them. Even now, only a fraction of the other impacted systems have been restored. I think the last I checked a few days ago, it was around 10%. But this is an important reminder, of course, that businesses should always operate a 3-2-1 backup system, even governments, ensuring that at any given time there are 3 copies of every piece of data, and you should be backing up to at least two different mediums, and at least one of those should be off-site. And in terms of where your primary data source is a data center, the off-site backup must be in a remote or other data center elsewhere. We've spoken about this sort of thing before, but whilst data centers have their own redundancies, so if drive can fail and things like that, it's important to remember that the data that's stored on them still needs to be backed up elsewhere. Yes, it's more secure. Yes, it's more stable in a data center, but that's not a replacement for having an actual backup in place. So, Pippa, how important do you think it is to be able to make sure that the data that your business has is backed up?
I think you definitely should make sure. You said 3, completely agree, but definitely 2 places and 1 off-site. That's one of the main, if, like you say, buildings go up, if something sets alight, there's certain thing, flooding, anything that would stop you being able to obtain information. So somewhere else is always, it's not always a good place. It's a definite thing that has to be done.
Definitely. And there is some industries where potentially more than just 2 backups is required. And there are other things that people need to be considering about backups as well. So whilst you can back up your data, the security of that backup is also important, because if your business suffers a cyber attack, for example, there's nothing that really stops cyber criminals to also trying to target your backups as well.
Yeah.
This is part of the reason why we now, for all of the businesses that we back up data for, we have something called immutable backups. Now, immutable backups, think of them as a see-only backup. You cannot edit them. You can only view them. You can restore from them, but you can't edit them. Nobody has the right to be able to go in and make any changes to it. So if a cyber criminal gains access into your business systems, even if they were able to get to those backups, there is nothing that they can do with them. They will still be able to be restored from. And it kind of links into the next story, but I'll come back to that in a minute. But it's important that businesses have these multiple copies, because if, God forbid, something happens, like a fire, like another example this past year, and we've got an article about this on our website, by the way, we had a logistics firm who, unfortunately, their main warehouse was underwater. There was floods last year. It was actually whilst we were out at a rugby game, I remember. We got a phone call. We're impacted by the flood. We don't know what to do, sort of thing. One of our guys went straight out to be able to go out to site and assess everything. I think he must have got a bit wet on that site, but went out to assess everything. Server was underwater, but thankfully we keep live replications of their server to our own data center, and we're able to restore that server for them very, very quickly and get them up and running at another one of their sites. But that just goes to show it's important to make sure you have that data backed up regularly and securely at all times. Now,
We used to put cassettes in.
yes.
Back it up
Oh, I remember
in the
that.
good old days.
Yeah, and even then, it's only, what, in the last 10, 15 years that people have really stopped doing that as well. So, yeah, I mean, I have my own backup story. I've talked about this a few times. I think I've told you, Pippa, about this before, is that, oh, I'll try not to get emotional. About 17 years ago, I lost my mum to cancer. And shortly after she passed away, I went through all of the digital photos and videos I had, put them all in a folder on my computer. I scanned in a lot of film negatives, and also for anything that I didn't have negatives for, I scanned in photos. Put everything in a single folder on my computer, just so I had it all in one place. So I could. It's now on my phone, but I'll come back to that in a minute. But I had it all on my computer, and then my computer hard drive failed, and I thought I'd lost everything. Like, I thought all of those photos, they're gone, can't get them back. And this was this way for months, I think it was, in the end. And one day I got an email from a cloud storage provider that I'd signed up for, completely forgotten about it. I got a free offer from them at one point in time. Your free offer is ending soon, and your storage is over capacity. You will not use up your data, but if you want to be able to download it, or if you want to subscribe for like increased storage, please feel free to do so, sort of thing. So I logged into this account. I actually had to reset my password to get into it because I didn't even know what the password was for it. But I logged into this account, and all the photos and all the videos were there, and to say I kind of broke down at that point is an understatement. I was so thankful that I had that second copy of them. But since that time, I now make sure that I've got copies of not only photos of my mum, but photos of now my kids and my family in multiple places. So I store them into iCloud. I keep a backup locally and stuff like that as well. And it's important to make sure that anything that's important to you, whether it's personal photos or whether it's business files, you've got multiple copies of that you can restore from at any given time. But yeah, that's just my little story. Sorry. Feel like I've run away with that one.
No, we've done fine.
Let's move on to the next story, though. So, Jaguar Land Rover, I reported about this in the last podcast at the end of August, it would have been now. They've only just started to restart their production following a cyber attack which halted production at all of their plants globally. It's now been more than a month, bleeding hell. But it's now come to light that some parts manufacturers have been asked by banks to now put up their homes as a security loan after the attack, which has had a major impact on the wider supply chain, with Jaguar Land Rover not able to do any sort of production over the past more than a month. However, the government announced this past week that they would underwrite a £1.5 billion loan to guarantee to Jaguar Land Rover to be able to support its parts and service suppliers who have had little or no money for more than a month. And I know that before the show, Pippa, you were talking about the Sky News report that was it September 25th, I think it was?
I think so, yeah.
Saying that Jaguar Land Rover didn't have any cybersecurity insurance in place at the time. They're actually mid-negotiations when the attack took place. And wow, what a time to not have cybersecurity insurance. It does beg the question, though. Potentially, cyber criminals were in their accounts, they were in their systems, and were potentially even able to see that they didn't have cyber insurance cover in place. Can't get my words out. It does beg that question because, of course, cyber criminals, they don't have to just launch an attack as soon as they gain access to a business. Usually what they will do is they will sit in and spread throughout all of the systems for days, weeks, potentially even months to be able to have the biggest impact possible, which is, of course, is what's happened in this case. We've spoken previously about the impact of cyber attacks on business supply chain, especially in terms of how a cyber attack can trickle down or up through a supply chain who don't have adequate security in place. But this just goes to show that the wider supply chain can also have a financial impact during these attacks as well. We saw the same with suppliers of M&S earlier this year. But also reports this past week, I think it's Telegraph, yep, in my notes, have stated that due to the sophistication of the attack, investigators are now suspecting that the hackers behind these could be acting on behalf of a foreign government, specifically looking at people like Russia, for example, being a state-backed attack. So again, early days on those reports at the moment. This is still being investigated, and Jaguar Land Rover are only just starting to resume production in some areas, not all though. But yes, Pippa, so much like with the M&S cyber attack, the length of time it's taken for these businesses to be able to start to recover from these, it does beg the question, how robust were their business continuity plans to be able to restore operations in the event of a cyber attack? I mean, do you think that they were potentially overconfident in the processes that they had in place, maybe not reviewing them often enough? Because with M&S, it was nearly 3 months before they were able to restore. Yeah, 15 weeks. And with Jaguar Land Rover, we're now approaching the 6th week of not being able to fully operate. Do you think that businesses need to be reviewing their continuity plans much more regularly?
I think with a lot of plans, we all have them. Where are they kept? Probably in a cupboard somewhere, gathering dust, or on a file on the system somewhere. They might be all singing, all dancing, but unless you check them or carry them out and see whether they work, how do you actually know whether they work? And certainly with your IT side of it all, that's growing and changing daily, weekly. So gone are the days when you really could get away with doing it annually, 6 monthly. There's certainly certain parts of your, if you've even got one, business continuity plan, need to be being checked quite regularly.
Yeah. So one thing that we say is that IT and cybersecurity, it shouldn't be reviewed just on an annual basis. We review IT and cybersecurity plans through regular business account meetings on a quarterly basis with all of our clients. And we have I think it's over 300 clients now in 19 countries. But we make sure on a quarterly basis that we're reviewing all of their IT and cybersecurity strategies, ensuring that it works well for their business, it works well for where their business plan they want to take their business in the future, But also, we work with businesses to be able to conduct regular checks of these strategies, making sure that people can restore from them and can restore from them quickly, and that there are processes in place of what happens if XYZ happens. So, in a cyber attack, for example, if they were able to get through all of the different cybersecurity tools that we have in place, which, touch wood, we haven't had anyone in a good long while. But if they were to be able to get through all of those different like processes and tools that were in place, what do businesses need to do? How can businesses quickly restore their data, and how can businesses quickly restore operations? So, in terms of, and again, this wasn't a cyber attack, but in terms of the business that suffered the flooding, for example, their business continuity strategy included more than just the cyber attack. It meant that we could quickly get them back up and running with all of their essential personnel come Monday morning when they came back into the office. This flood happened on a Saturday. We worked literally through the weekend to be able to get new machines set up, restore data to an offsite server, get other like servers on order so that they could continue to work on the data that they had backed up, but then they would have a new permanent data source that could be stored elsewhere. Like, a business continuity strategy needs to include all of these different things. But I suppose beyond business continuity, what are your thoughts on businesses ensuring that they have cyber insurance policies in place, for example?
I think it would be interesting to see how many of the bigger companies throughout the country have the insurance. I think you'll find that probably there's a fair few smaller companies that have it because maybe they worry about it more because they possibly don't have the availability to, should anything happen, to be able to cover it. Well, say cover it. Land Rover quite clearly haven't managed to
Yeah.
cover it, but that I sometimes think maybe the bigger companies feel as though, are they untouchable? Can they deal with everything? Yeah, I do think it should be, maybe it should be a standard written into nowadays, written into your business. Well, yeah, your business insurance.
Yeah. And we'll come back to that shortly because there's other things that are going on. There was a ministerial letter released this past week that I'll come to shortly. But yeah, we in terms of cyber insurance and following essential rules and guidelines of cybersecurity, nowadays it's not really like a nice to have. It's kind of really a must have for many businesses.
Yeah.
Ensuring that you have cybersecurity tools in place, not just like protecting you from malware, but like protecting you from phishing emails, for example, protecting you from plugging a rubber ducky into your system. Just calling back to the rubber ducky post from this morning, but like a rubber ducky is just a USB stick that is programmed to do something more than just store files on. Like, it could grant remote access to a system, but it goes far beyond that as well. Making sure you have complex passwords, multi-factor authentication, all of these things businesses should be making sure that they follow nowadays to protect themselves from these growing and evolving cyber threats. But anyway, I can get very passionate about these sorts of things. Let's say.
You go for it.
Let's come on now to this week's 24 Tech Tip topic of the week. I still stumble over my words when we say that, but let's move on to that now. Some may have seen my post over on LinkedIn from yesterday, or posts that we've been putting throughout the past more than a year on this subject, by the way. Support for Windows 10 has now ended. Now, this also comes as part of it now being Cybersecurity Awareness Month. It's more than just Halloween. You can see all the decorations behind me. We've got decorations throughout the office. But October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. All month long, we've been sharing helpful tips and advice to help businesses stay secure against the more than 500,000 new cyber threats which are discovered worldwide daily. Last year, UK businesses were targeted by 8.58 million cyber attacks, with 67% of those being against small to medium-sized businesses. At TwentyFour, we've made it our mission to be able to reduce that number through support and education, ensuring that businesses have the tools to be able to stay secure against these evolving threats, such as the ones that we were just talking about. And understanding that cybersecurity, like I said, is no longer just a nice to have, but rather an essential part of running your business. Of course, part of this is making sure that you keep your hardware and software up to date so that it does not become vulnerable over time. Yesterday, October 14th, Microsoft officially ended support for Windows 10, announcing that end of life date. I think the original announcement was back in April of 2023. But what this now means is that Windows 10 will now no longer receive feature and security updates, and will also start to lose support and updates for things like the Microsoft 365 Office suite of applications on PC and laptops that are just still running Windows 10. For people and businesses throughout the UK, this means that approximately 35% of people in the UK who are still using Windows 10 will now be vulnerable to any new zero-day cybersecurity threats that are discovered, and just leaving them insecure and losing out on features long term as well. But that security part is the biggest thing, especially for businesses who still have Windows 10 devices. Over this past couple of years, we've been working with all of our clients and also people who have been bringing on board to be able to replace or upgrade older Windows 10 hardware with Windows 11 to ensure that they stay secure and that their business have the hardware to be able to grow and help them achieve their growth goals long term as well. So if your business, following the end of Windows 10's support, let's say, if your business is still using Windows 10 computers, reach out to myself, reach out to any of the team at TwentyFour, and just find out more. I mean, honestly, I didn't mean for that to rhyme then, but it makes sense. Like, make sure that you reach out, find out more, and see how you can transition away from Windows 10 and ensure you've got the hardware there to support you in your future. Pippa, with the rise in cyber attacks on UK businesses, especially the big ones, we've been talking about Jaguar Land Rover, of course, but also M&S, Harrods, Co-op, and many others that aren't seen and reported every day in the news. Do you think that it should now become an essential requirement for businesses to follow standards such as Cyber Essentials, for example?
I do, yes. It's like with a lot of compliance, whether you actually go for certification or not, best practice is to at least follow the basics. Yeah, start with cyber essentials, then go to plus, and then do you know what? Your ISO 27001. It all needs,
Yeah,
obviously dependent on the size of your business, what you actually do, what you actually store, then yeah, I do
yeah.
think it's essential.
I mean, like I've said, we work with businesses now to be able to understand their business, understand their industry, and how they operate to make sure that they stay secure from evolving threats. Because the how people can be targeted can be different per industry. We've seen with Qantas, we've seen with LNER, customer data was targeted through a third-party supplier, and it's ensuring that businesses know where the data that they hold, how is that data handled, how is that data secure. So it's not just directly the data that your business holds in on its devices, computers, laptops, servers, or cloud storage devices, or anything like that. You have to make sure that your data is secure wherever it is stored and that your business is secure from these evolving attacks. um as a follow up, it's kind of an extra news story, let's call it. Earlier this week, the government released a ministerial letter on cybersecurity, urging businesses to take action to counter evolving cyber threats and to take necessary steps to protect their business from cyber attacks, stating that cyber resilience is a critical enabler of economic growth nowadays. The letter advises that businesses should make cyber risk a board level priority using the government's cyber governance code of practice. And this counts for small to medium sized businesses as well. Members of your business, senior leadership team, owners, directors should all be taking cybersecurity with the utmost priority nowadays, with the amount of evolving attacks that businesses throughout the UK are experiencing. But also that businesses should sign up to the National Cybersecurity Centre's early warning service. And also now that stumbling over my words again. And also now that businesses should ask their business. Can't get my words out, Pippa. Struggling now.
It's okay, you carry on. I'd read it for you, but I can't say.
No. So yes, as I was trying to say, businesses should require cyber essentials throughout their supply chain, stating that businesses who are complying with and certified for cyber essentials, as we were just saying, are 92% less likely to make a claim on their cyber insurance because they are following all of these best codes of practice and have the right tools and processes in place for their business. We've said about this before. We've said that this is the very least that businesses should be doing. As I've just said, we advise a much more holistic approach to cybersecurity, assessing the specific requirements of each business along what industry they operate in, and businesses should now not just be advised, but should be required to abide by at least the minimum of standards of cyber essentials, but much more besides. I mean, Pippa, here's a statistic for you. Did you know that only 14% of UK businesses assess the risks posed by their supply chains?
That's probably bigger than I was expecting, to be fair, even though it was only 14%.
Yeah, only 14%. I'll not ask you to divulge any sensitive information, but do you think that you regularly check often enough the cyber risks posed by any of your suppliers? And
who's listening at the moment? Because that will depend on my.
Well, I suppose the bigger question is, how often do you record how many of your suppliers are Cyber Essentials certified? That's probably better.
Can I answer with, it's always do as I say, not as I do?
Yeah.
Probably not as often as I should do.
Yeah. And I think, as this statistic shows, that goes for a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
Now, for ourselves, of course, we're Cyber Essentials Plus ISO 27001 certified. Part of our records, we have to keep all of this information. All of our suppliers work within the industry as well, IT, cybersecurity. All of them have to make sure that they abide by these rules. But also, upcoming as well, and this will be a big thing, I released an article about it not long ago, the UK's new Cybersecurity and Resiliency Bill, which is looking to come into effect probably early next year, I believe, will place a lot more onus on MSPs such as ourselves to make sure that we are providing the right kind of security and support to our customers, and data security to go along with that as well. So we have to make sure that we ensure that our suppliers are not only Cyber Essentials certified, but where possible, Cyber Essentials Plus and ISO 27001 certified, or in other areas of the world, abiding by lots of other different standards as well. So I think the lesson here for anyone who is listening, make sure that you're aware if your suppliers have the right cybersecurity in place. Because all it takes is for one of them to get targeted, for one of them to have their emails breached. And before you know it, they could be sending phishing emails to you, and that could pass on further down the line. Just think of it as spokes going out. Every time one person is attacked, it could go on to the next and the next and the next and the next. So it's important to remember that it's not just your cybersecurity that you need to be considerate of. You need to be considerate of the cybersecurity of your suppliers as well.
Yep.
But let's come on to the last part of today's show. And this is where we get to hear Pippa talk for as long as she really wants.
That'll be all of 2 minutes.
Pippa did say earlier today, she was like, I really want to do the podcast. I really want to come and join you, but I am incredibly nervous, and I will try to talk as much as I can. I will try to be involved as much as I can, but I am very, very nervous. Which, for anyone who's met Pippa at an event before, nervousness and quietness are not two things that kind of go hand in hand with Pippa.
Until I'm put in positions like this. And yeah, it's oh dear, what
Yes.
do I say?
But Pippa, why don't you tell us a little bit more about who you are, but also about your business, Applaud. Who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? I'm Pippa, director of Applaud Business Consultancy. I'm also on the board of Doncaster Chambers.
Yep.
What do I do? Well, we're a business consultancy, so that gets away. I can use that title for absolutely
I
anything.
say it can describe a lot of different things.
Yes. Oh yes. Was it Richard Branson that said you always say yes and then panic about it if somebody else can do something? But no. I prefer to help businesses grow. So I will look at their business planning, the strategy, their continuity plans so that not once they're growing, they can stay or grow even further. I help businesses put processes into place. And if there's things I can't do, then I'm very good at collaborating and will pass people on to.
Yeah, I think you've got a
People
connection in
from
just about every industry, haven't you?
I think somebody once called me the Del Boy of connections.
What once upon a time it had been you had the thickest Rolodex ever, but now it's probably just the longest phone book.
Well, to be fair, I do still like business cards
Yeah.
because when people say, when they connect and on LinkedIn and this, that, that's great, but I've got to remember who you are to be able to then pass your details on or remember what you do. So no, yeah, I still like proper business cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And it's good for like events and stuff like that. Like I carry around, I keep looking for my phone. I carry around a digital business card on my phone that people can scan a QR code for. But if you're at an event hall, for example, you might not have signal.
and the other
Sometimes,
thing is, when you're at events, certainly expos, you need your business cards to put in the goldfish bowls to win prizes.
oh yes, yes, and we've already signed up to be able to return to Doncaster Business Showcase this next year, and we will be having a business card drop giveaway again.
Can I put one in?
Of course you can.
Marvellous.
Of course you can. And you won. Was it last year or the year before? You won. Was it some champagne?
I believe so. I've drunk it and slept since then.
I bet it didn't really last the weekend, did it?
Shh.
We joke.
The expo is a long day. It's a very, very good day, but it's a long day. So I will have needed some relaxation at the end.
So what sorts of things has your business been helping other businesses with over the past 6 months, a year, let's say?
Recently I have actually taken on a new client.
Yeah.
Not got the time to look at the systems that they have and software that they have. I've gone and learnt all about this software and it is amazing.
Really?
I've now got to get it out of my head into different systems as to how, or processes into how they can work it out. But it will say the amount of time it will save them is unbelievable. I'm about to go in and do a couple of internal audits for 9001 for a couple of different clients.
And for those that aren't aware, 9001 covers
management system.
Yeah.
So that's that's the main. Obviously I will say this is the main one. But do you know what? Again, work towards it.
Yeah.
Whether you need it or not.
9001 as well is one of those ones that is applicable across so many different industries as well. Yeah. It's not just like I worked in manufacturing, for example. 9001 is kind of an essential one for manufacturing, really. But I mean, like,
I wouldn't force anybody to actually go into the certification unless you required it. But what I would suggest is, regardless of whether you're a startup or anything else, any sort of between startup and huge, it's
following those
you
practices.
Should always work towards, because it will save you time, save you money, and it will help you grow.
Exactly. And the other notable ones that you can think of?
No, I just
No?
it's one of those things I just do.
Yeah, you're
I
just there to
just
help everyone,
I
really.
will help, and as I say, if
Yeah,
somebody asks me if it's something I can, I certainly will do.
yeah.
I've worked in different industries, so I'm lucky in the fact that
I
I'm
sometimes just phone you up and go, Pippa, do you know so and so, or do you know someone who works in this industry?
oh yes, I'm sure. And if I don't, I know somebody who will do.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, no. What usually happens is I phone you up and I say, trouble.
Yeah. Do you know what I could do with? I could do with a job networking.
Well, you've been like, you were on a panel, weren't you?
Oh,
Was it last week?
yes.
Queen of Networking,
Yes,
something like that.
seems to be the month of October's the month of putting yourself out there and
Oh yeah,
getting out your comfort zone.
on a panel, on a podcast. Can we think of anything else beginning with a P that you can be doing?
No,
No.
no, I've done it for the month now. That's it. I don't
Is that
need
it
to
now
anymore.
until next year? Well, it's not it until next year because you're also hosting an event very soon, aren't you?
Yes, and again, out my comfort zone. So yes, we are on the 19th of November is International Men's Day, celebration of men and role models, and it's all about getting men to talk.
Yeah.
We know women can, men need to do more of it.
Yeah. I was at the event last year. Absolutely brilliant event. Tony, our CTO, also was on the panel at the event as well.
It was, and purely and simply because of the work ethic and the sort of what 24 IT do for their staff and their employees.
All the reasons why we're finalists for the Employer of the Year this year at the Business Awards.
And why shouldn't you be? So I think the information that sort of I found out about 24 prior to last year's event, it had to be Tony on the panel. So this year we have Barry Miller as our guest speaker, Lee Tillman from City of Doncaster Council, who have also this year kindly sponsored the event. We've got Wayne Sables on the panel, and Rob Smith of Andyman Club again will be joining us. And then this year we've actually got a third charity, so I need lots of raffle prizes. If anybody's wanting to donate, we have Active Fusion,
Brilliant local charity.
excellent charity. We have Andyman's Club, and then the Doncaster Knights Foundation.
Yeah, and it will actually be at Castle Park, where Doncaster Knights are based.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and then the other assistance I get is from Horson's Accountants. They always help me with the accounting at the end of it all.
Yep.
And their lovely coffee man, Andre from Nespresso.
Yep. And I'll be there this year, regardless. I'll be taking photos whilst I'm there, but I might even be taking photos for you as well for using on your own socials, let's say.
Not too many of me. And I've got to host it this year as well.
Yes, because you didn't do much of the talking last year, but you're getting your practice in now.
I did the raffle, which was quite. I was able. I hid in the background. I can do the doing and setting it all up. The standing in front of everybody. No.
So how can people find out more and sign up to join this year's event?
Well, we are on Eventbrite, so it's Applaud Business Consultancy on Eventbrite.
Yep.
I am throwing it out on LinkedIn as much as I can.
Yep.
I know you've shared it a few times, and I'm sure if people contact you,
you can forward people in the right direction. Yeah.
It's on. I'm not sure if it's not on Doncaster Council's website for events. It's on International Men's Day website.
Yep.
Just grab anybody that knows me, and they'll give you my contact details.
Yes, and you're also looking for raffle prizes at the moment, aren't you?
Raffle prizes, yes. So far, we've had them donated by Horsons, Past Logistics, and Doncaster Nights. So
Very good. And I
they
know
would be gratefully received.
last year there was things like tickets to the Rovers, there was a coffee machine, there was lots of other different things, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more this year as well. So anyone who wants to be able to support this event, whether it's through donating a raffle prize or just joining on the day, there will be, I guess, cow pie being served.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
That was I'm not doing it unless cow pie's available.
For anyone who isn't aware, Castle Park, Doncaster Knights, they are famous for their legendary cow pie. I had it this past weekend when we were out at the box for the rugby. Absolutely melt in your mouth. Absolutely brilliant. I could not recommend it enough. But yeah, cow pie will be available.
Yes. There obviously is a vegetarian option.
Yeah.
Cow pie.
For those who need it.
Yes.
But otherwise, cow pie is the way to go. I highly recommend.
Yep, definitely.
But yes, have you got anything else exciting coming up soon, Pippa?
I don't think I have.
No?
That's it. My mind goes blank. Just ask me questions and I'll answer them.
Yeah? Are you going to the Business Awards this year?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Big party.
Yes.
How many spaces have you got? Are you taking anyone with you? 2?
2. I'm taking Sarah Ray.
Oh, yeah.
Believe you might. Yeah, you might have met Sarah.
Yeah, I've met Sarah a couple of times, yeah.
Guest along this year.
Yeah.
Come and
Have I told you how many seats that we've got to fill this year?
3 tables, did you say?
32 spaces.
Come and gate crash, don't you, really?
Yes, so we have all of our Doncaster team, some of our remote team, all coming along. Some people are bringing partners as well. Some people actually work with our partners. So my wife, who is in the office literally next door to here, she will be coming along as well. We've got brothers on the service desk, so they'll be coming along as well. We've got cousins who work here as well, father, daughter. So yeah, we not father, daughter, cousins, you know what I mean. But yeah, it is a big family atmosphere here. We all have a lot of fun. We're doing a like a Halloween day, fuddle day. Anyone who's seen the photos of our fuddles, absolutely legendary. Again,
When's that one?
Halloween.
Friday the 31st.
Yeah.
I've invited myself.
So yeah, we're doing you got to come dressed up though. You've got to come dressed as
Just really
some Halloween character.
looking like a pumpkin.
What I've joked is that all I'll do is I'll take my hat off, I'll wrap myself in a cloak, and I'll come as Uncle Fester.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it'll work quite well.
I think it went very well.
But yes, so yeah, we've got, as I was saying, 32 spaces for the Business Awards this year. Because, of course, we are headline sponsors. We're also sponsoring the Large Business Award as well. So as part of that, we get quite a few spaces to be able to bring people along. It's a really good celebration as well. I saw yesterday, I think it was, there's only 100 spaces left now.
Wow.
So, yeah, and this is an event that can fit like about 1,000 people at. So make sure that if you're wanting to be there this year, if you haven't signed up yet, sign up now, because those spaces will not be around for very long.
Anybody will be there.
Yeah, and you can sign up directly through the Doncaster Chamber website. We've also got links to it on our finalists page and also our headline sponsors page on our website. Click on the links, head through, sign yourself up. Absolutely brilliant evening celebrating our local business community. And before that, we're going to be heading over to the Barnsley and Rotherham Chamber of Commerce Awards as well on, I want to say it's November 14th, because we're finalists. Again, this has happened since I recorded the last show. I haven't been able to talk about this one. We're finalists for the Business Growth Award with Barnsley and Rotherham Chamber of Commerce. So really looking forward to that. We've got a table at that, so we'll be taking a contingent of 24 IT team along to it. I know I'll be there. Mike will be there. Tony's away, so Tony can't go.
Tony's never here.
I know, especially this sort of time of year. He was in Miami last week or week. Got back just in time for the rugby.
I was just about to say, I saw him at the rugby on your photos, but I very nearly put a comment. Is that real? Is Tony real, or is that AI?
He only went to like a quarter of the games last season, I think it was, because he was away so much. He's away twice before the end of this year still. He's still got 2 more trips coming up. So, yeah, that's going to be exciting anyway, especially with, like I say, all the awards coming up. He will be around for the Doncaster Business Awards, so definitely can't miss that one. But yeah, and like I say, we've got some new people starting here at 24 in the coming weeks as well. We've got someone new starting on Monday, and then in about a week and a half now, I've got someone who will be sat right where you are, Pippa. I've got someone joining the marketing team. I need to set up the desk with some more monitors and a computer and everything, but
need a bigger space.
Yeah, well, you can see from looking out into our office, Pippa, that because of how much we're growing at the moment, we might actually need more space soon, because we're
Tony out of his office. His office is a nice big one.
well, there's more people in that one now as well.
Okay.
So yes, we're definitely doing well at the moment, like I say, with the growth that we're going through. Did you know that when I first started, there were 37 team members? We're now at, well, by the time the 2 new people are starting, join us, we'll be at 55.
Wow. Brilliant.
And also within that time, we've gone from supporting, I think it was around 10,000 users, I think it was at the time. We now support over 16,000 users in 19 countries. So, yes, definitely growing, definitely doing well at the moment. And there's lots and lots and lots of exciting things coming over this next 12 months, I would say, as well. Lots of news to be able to share that can't go into yet, but really, really exciting stuff. But thank you, Pippa, for joining me today. It's been brilliant to be able to have you on the podcast. Brilliant just have a chat as well. Just like sometimes we just end up having chats over the phone, and like now you can come into the office and chat with me and whoever decides that they want to listen in during the day.
Excellent. And come and do that on the 31st. I'm definitely coming in on the 31st.
Yes. So thank you again for joining, and I suppose I'll let everyone get on with their day now. Hope you all have a good one, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye bye.